Hello and welcome to my channel. Maria here, and in this video I'm going to show you 5 easy steps to prep nails like a pro. So stick around, because at the end I'm going to show you a bonus step that guarantees you no lifting. Right, so these are my nails so far. This is before I start my prep, and these are the tools you're going to need. So we are starting with the cuticle pushers. You can also use an orange stick for this. Doesn't necessarily need to be a cuticle pusher itself, made of steel like I have it here. It's very affordable, that one. And then I have a cuticle bit that goes into an electric file with red band on it, which is a fine bit, by the way, so minimum abrasion. This doesn't hurt you at all. As you can see, I'm trying to do a close-up and show you that it's very fine. It doesn't cut you, hurt you, burn you, or anything. Right, the next one will be the 100 by 180 file, which mine is used, and it's used only by me. I prefer a used one on natural nails. So what I do here is I push back my cuticles as much as I can. You need to, if you do it on yourself, make sure that you sort of don't push it too hard. You know, you just sort of push it as much as you can, really, because the cuticle bit will help loosen your skin from the nail plate even further. I'll show you in just a second. But as you can see, as I push the cuticles, you can see some white debris. Well, that's dead skin around. So that's why this is so handy. So I grab it and I put it on 17 RPMs, but that's on my electric file. So it literally depends on how safe you feel. So I see some nail techs go to 5 RPMs, 4 RPMs, 10. It depends on each individual person and the sensitivity that they may have. For me, 17 does the trick, as you can see here, and it pushes it very nicely. Now, the way I use this, it's quite easy. I barely touch my natural nail, to be honest. So what I do is I go in a circular motion from the right to the left, and I push on top of the cuticle, so upward motion, to if you understand. So I go under my cuticle and push upwards rather than down on my nail plate. And I'm going to show you very soon how to hold the drill bit as well, because if your angle is wrong, then you could hurt or harm the natural nail as well. So as you can see here, I haven't sped up anything. I'm just going inside from sort of going upwards in a circular motion. Right, so as you can see here, I'm showing you sort of a closer, in-depth look of how it looks under the cuticle. Hopefully you can see better this way. Right, so now I'm reversing the electric files to go from the left to the right. So before, what I did is I started from the middle to the left and from the right to the left, sort of to clean underneath, and now I'm going from the left to the right to ensure that both well, sort of not both, but all on the on that area is clean, and also removing it with a dust brush looking thing. Now this is a close-up. I hope you guys have seen the difference, and now I'm continuing with my index finger because I'm happy with the outcome. As you can see here, again, it is very fine. It doesn't hurt you, it doesn't burn you, and I've got it at 17 RPMs. So as I said, I think it depends on each electrophile that people have. But the first and most important thing is to always go in circular motions and pushing it up against the cuticle. So you may be touching the nail, obviously, because there's dead cuticle on it and under that bit over there, but it's very minimal. So you're not pushing into your nail, you're not sort of filing only your natural nail, you push upwards on your cuticle in a circular motion. This way you are also helping the dead cuticle move upwards, which will give you an easier access when you come with cutting it. Again, I'm showing you a closer look, but my camera seems to not focus so well in some areas, but here we go. So what I'm going to do is gonna do all the nails in reverse, so from the left to the right, and then I'm gonna go back and go from the right to the left to finish off my procedure. It's very important to go both ways. Normally it's either from half of your nail to the left and then you reverse it and you go half of the nail to the right, and that way you are honestly cleaning under there as best you can. So that's the best maneuver I found throughout my years as a nail tech. Now this over here is I'm showing you how not to hold it. That this is not how you hold it, that's the way you hold it. So you need to not point down but keep it as flat as possible. And as you can see here, keeping it flat allows me to push against the cuticle upwards. I'm not creating any dents in my natural nail, and I'm also unattaching that dead cuticle from my natural nail a lot better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you guys watch this procedure, and then I'm going to come back to you when the next step is on. Okay, we're almost at the end of this step, but before we go to the next step, I just wanted to mention that now is your chance to clean the hard skin around, like I'm doing over here. I'm just cleaning the hard skin that sort of builds through time. So if you have clients or yourself that the skin is even like a bit too hard, which, you know, it can happen, you may need a more abrasive drill bit. So I've got it really fine, and that's just for the purpose of the cuticle work and to not damage my natural nail. But if you want to go on hard skin on the sides of the nails, then you may benefit from purchasing just one extra one. So these are the finished results for this step, and going into the next one now, which is the hand file. I've got a hand file of 100 by 180 grit, and the 180 grit is perfect to remove the oils and any leftover skin that you may have on your natural nail. Now I do have to mention that I still have some leftover gels here and there, because if you've seen any of my previous videos, I did mention that I don't use the soak-off procedure. So the soak-off procedure is literally removing your top coat and then putting acetone in a cotton pad, and then keeping your nails in cotton pad for about 10-15 minutes. But I don't do that because of my eczema. My skin doesn't like that, it reacts to it. So what I do is I file it to a very thin layer, and then I'm either going on with a new set or I leave it for a bit, because sometimes I just don't have time to create new sets, you know, every so on. But that's what I'm showing you here. As I'm filing down, you can still see some spots on my nail where they're still shiny, and that's not because my nail is all lumpy dumpy. It's just for the fact that I still have some gel residue on, so gel overlay, something like that, you know. I think you know what I mean. But anyway, you on your natural nail, you do not need to put a lot of pressure, maybe none whatsoever. Just let the file do the work and you do the moves. Make sure you attack the corners, the edges. They're very important. So the more lifting you're going to get, the lifting that you mostly going to get is going to be on the side walls of your nail and around your cuticle area. You want to make sure that that is buffed thoroughly. No pressure needed, just make sure it's not shiny. And that way you are certain that that step is completed properly. Now I'm going to let this step finish. You may see something you haven't seen in the previous nails, so keep on watching and I'll come back to you for the next step. Alright guys, we're almost at the end of this part and going on to the second. As you can see, for you to see better how you filing while buffing your natural nail, remove dust ever so often. Now there are different options to cut your cuticle. I love using this Stylix Pro cuticle scissor, but there's also nippers, and there's also the fact that you don't need to cut it at all. It depends on how bad it is. Now my procedure is I always cut it. One, it helps with the adhesion. It helps with the fact that no lifting occurs, because the next day your dead cuticle will overnight try and attach itself to your natural nail again. Two, it looks cleaner and free. I think it's just something that I practiced a lot to perfect. So I think I really like using this more than without it. I know that, you know, this is an extra, and not all nail techs use, and some of them are afraid to use it, some of them don't want to use it, some of them may say it's not indicated to be used. But for me, and for many others I'm sure out there who feel that without this step it's just, it feels like it's not complete, it feels like something's missing. So this is my procedure. You don't have to follow this step, this is just what I like to do. Now as you can see, as soon as I removed that, it automatically looked better. So even for someone who just wants to have some clean looking nails, no gels, no extensions, no anything on, you know, just doing these steps and cutting off that dead cuticle around already makes such a huge difference, and it looks spot on clean. This is where, you know, when you filed using the cuticle bit, right, when you were pushing the dead cuticle upwards, as I was mentioning, that you sort of go in a circular move and pushing the cuticle, pushing it on the cuticle, pushing it higher and higher. This is why this step just became 100% easier to do because of that step. So if I wouldn't have pushed it upwards, then I would have had to go sort of in an angle to get under the cuticle, in between the cuticle and the nail plate. But this way I didn't have to go anywhere under, nothing. I just literally had to slowly cut it off because it was already hanging upwards for me, waiting for me to get cut. So I find this very fascinating to watch, and very calming to do as well. I really like it. At first I was very petrified of it, and I used to use nippers because I thought that I would just poke myself or my clients with scissors, but I gave the scissors a go and I'm not going back to nippers. I'm definitely not going back to nippers. This is so much easier. Yes, it may take some practice, it may, you know, take some courage, but it's definitely nothing to worry about. Right, so let's put that aside now. Going in, we are almost at the end of this step, and I'm coming in with the next one. The next one is optional, but I did see a lot of great results after starting to use it, after using it for quite a while. So this is it, the ball bit. Now the ball bit helps you have a smooth transition between the parts you've cut and the healthy skin. How can I don't know how to name it, the normal skin. So what you do, you go around the area you've cut, the around the edge. So that's what you've cut. You just go around it and you see if there is anything else that needs to be removed. Something you don't always see, but this will help you clearly remove any excess dead skin that was still on there. So this is really helpful. One, because it becomes very smooth. It's like this smooth transition, and also it helps in the long run, which literally indicates that you're going to get less, you know, the dead cuticle is going to be less and less, not completely disappearing, but it's just going to look more neat, and it also going to help with the cuticle on the nail bed, which that means to me, what I've seen throughout the years that I've used this procedure, it doesn't stick to your nail plate as bad as without it, if you kind of understand what I mean. As you can see, I mean, after we finished with the scissors, the nail, the whole cuticle work looked pretty clean, but going over with this bit shows that there's still some leftover dead cuticle, which this is the step that helps you remove absolutely all of it and gives you that nice smooth transition, that clean finish. So just remember, if you don't know, with this cuticle bit, try not to touch your natural nail. It's very important. One, you're going at a lower speed. I think I'm going on 7 here, 7, 10, something like that. You don't need, even though it's a red band, it does feel like it's more abrasive than the fine bit that we've used for the cuticles. So what that means is if you touch a natural nail, there's a chance that you may scratch it a bit too much. But it's not hard to do, as long as you just touch the edges of your cuticle, the ball bit will do the rest. You'll see it goes in smoothly. You just have to touch the correct area. Okay guys, as we are almost at the end of this step, the next step will be the bonus that I spoke to you about, the bonus process. I don't know how to name it, but if you manage to stay till this over here, then I'm most grateful. I really appreciate it, and for that I hope you're going to enjoy the last step. The last step is all about the prep and prime, or the using a disinfectant, or using a wet wipe, or how can I explain this, even your acetone, if you have acetone, which obviously you may do. So what happens is, when you've done all these steps, all you need to do now is clean your natural nails a lot. So doing the cuticle work, doing the nail, the natural nail prep will leave a lot of dust. To remove all of that, you can come in with a nail prep, a disinfectant, a wet wipe, or all of them, doesn't really matter, whichever one you want to use, or a combination of the two. and go under that cuticle, go on the sides of your nail bed, go under your nails, clean all of that properly. If you do that, then you will not have lifting. You will not get your base coat contaminated with dust, and hence the lifting can occur. Doing this step will also help for the fact that if your client is got oily skin, then this is the step for you. Thank you all for being present and watching this to the end. On my next video, I'm going to show you the next steps will be the prep, prime, base and extension. So see you there. Bye.